Tommy, good evening.
Good evening, my man.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'll be better on Sunday when it's Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble starts. But I'm doing good, man. It's been a long week, but ready to get it going, man.
I hear that. I hear that. Episode 52.
Man, it's crazy. Every time you say that, it's just weird to think that we got another episode under the down under. So it's good, man. I'm excited.
This is Royal Rumble weekend, but first we're going to drop a little bit of intro music for you. Why don't we?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Good evening, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans. This is episode 52. This is Royal Rumble weekend. WrestleMania season is here. Let's get it started, man. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be back for another one. You're just saying right before the show how excited I am, man. I feel like my excitement is a little wane, but in the fact that it's Royal Rumble, like you said, we're on our road to, as cliche as it sounds, on the road to WrestleMania. But I'm excited, man. It should be a really good pay-per-view on Sunday.
Absolutely. This is episode 52. It's been about, 2 weeks since the last official episode. Last week we did a watch-along, which you guys should check out. Episode 51, I just wanted to take the time to thank you, of course, and Noah and Justin for hopping on and stepping in for me while I was battling COVID. I thank you guys so much. You guys all killed it.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I know they were excited. They've been talking to me about it a lot. They had a lot of fun, and glad to have you back, man.
Well, make sure you let them know they're welcome back at any time they want to hop on.
I definitely will, man. I'll definitely hope we can all get together for another show down the line.
Absolutely. But, this is the in-between week where a lot going on. Royal Rumble this weekend. And we had some championship football games last week.
Gosh, man, I haven't heard the end of it. My little brother's a Buccaneers fan, and I keep trying to tell him, just get ready. I had to deal with some, I had to get myself ready for a little bit of sadness when the Rays lost. But I know he's excited to watch the Buccaneers play. It should be a good game. I was hoping for a Packers-Bills Super Bowl. I would have loved to see Rodgers get that.
It was close.
One last step. It was. We were close. I made it, I wrote an article about Aaron Rodgers last week, and I was just like, even when it was 28-10, you can never count out Aaron Rodgers, and of course he brought their team back, made it 28-23, and ultimately fell short, but yeah, I'm looking forward to a good Super Bowl. It almost seemed like the one that people were expecting at the beginning of the season when Brady signed with Tampa Bay, and we're going to have it. It will be good to see if he can get his team over the hump and bring the title to Tampa, or if the Chiefs will, defend their championship.
I wasn't completely sold on the possibility of Tampa Bay going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I was definitely sold on KC going to the Super Bowl for sure, representing the AFC. And I've told a couple of people, Kansas City is the type of team that's probably going to represent the AFC for the next couple of years in the Super Bowl, so get ready for that. But Tom Brady, let's just say the Buccaneers won. The Buccaneers defense won the game for Tampa because Brady threw 3 straight interceptions, 3 possessions. Green Bay cannot capitalize at all. Bad play calling. They should have went for a touchdown rather than field goal with 2 minutes left in the fourth. They basically gave the game away.
Yeah, somebody said it best. Why would you ever take the chance? 4th and 8, you're on the 8-yard line. Even if you don't get it, the Buccaneers are still in pretty good position to get a stop and get a pump back, and LaFleur decided to take the field goal and give that ball back to Brady. So I'm sure that'll be talked about for years to come, and something that unless if they get over the hump next year, this is the 2nd straight year they missed out on the Super Bowl. They made it to the NFC Championship back-to-back years. So unless if they find a way to get over the hump, I think that'll be something that'll kind of wane on LaFleur's career.
And with Mahomes dealing with concussion protocol for the whole week prior,
Yeah.
you automatically thought that the Bills' chances to win this game went up much higher.
Yeah.
Considering that there was a possibility that Mahomes may have not been himself, or maybe even not been able to play that game, but he got cleared within the last day or so before that game, and listen, Buffalo came out swinging 9-0 lead, but apparently that was not enough. KC put the clamps on them. Kelsey unstoppable with Mahomes. I mean, the only way you're going to stop Kelsey is by taking out his kneecaps.
Yeah, exactly. I think, Kelsey is, a lot of love gets thrown to Tyreek Hill, but, Kelsey is just absolutely amazing. I think he's one of the best tight ends we've seen in the history of the game. I think he'll continue to, enhance his career as the years go by. But, yeah, I really do think we'll see, maybe not next year, but I definitely think we'll see Buffalo. You talked about Kansas City. Buffalo and Kansas City is going to be a playoff matchup, and honestly, I could see a Super Bowl preview a few times over the next, decade or so. I think they both got extremely solid cores, especially with Mahomes and Josh Allen. But yeah, it was a good weekend overall for football. I'm sad, knowing that the season's coming to the end next week with the Super Bowl, but we're moving right into baseball season, and I'm excited for that. So
I don't know what to feel about baseball yet.
There's been some good moves.
Red Sox haven't done much.
Yeah, they got Ottavino from the Yankees, but yeah, man, I know I messaged you before the show, but Nolan Arenado just got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals, so that's gonna be it's been an exciting, it's very exciting offseason. I'm looking forward to the start of the season.
Yeah,
and,
the New York Mets won the offseason this year for sure.
Oh, for sure. But knowing Mets baseball, you can never, you can't crown them too early.
No, they always figure out a way to mess it up. But
exactly.
Trust me, I know. I live in New York.
Exactly. I was gonna say you live in New York, so you
always figure out a way to mess it up. But anyway, we're here to talk a little wrestling. We figured we'd break the ice for a couple moments for you guys. But we got some Royal Rumble predictions for you. So listen, I'm gonna make some predictions that nobody else is making. I can tell you that much. And let's just say, I always like to say, you've heard it here first. Anyhow,
Wayne's calling his shot.
Anyhow, we're gonna do a quick, and I mean quick, 5-10 minute rundown for Raw. In any WWE this week, a little bit of AEW, just to kind of build our way to the Royal Rumble predictions. Then that'll be our show for this week. So Monday Night Raw, not a good show. Raw was once again abysmal. I watched the 3-hour show within 45 minutes, and in that 45 minutes, most of it was DVRing. I watched the Drew segments. I watched Alexa Bliss. I think she's doing some excellent work. As hokey as it is, I think she's doing some pretty excellent work. I watched the Drew segment just to kind of keep up with what's going on.
Yeah.
I've been following a little bit of the AJ stuff. We see in the beginning, we see Drew talking about getting ready for his match with COVID, and then in the ring, of course. And then it's an interruption by the Money in the Bank holder, Miz, describing to Drew how he's going to cash in his suitcase. Out comes Goldberg. Goldberg and Drew take out Miz and Morrison. Thank God. Get Miz and Morrison off of my TV.
Yeah, they it sucks because I know that they're both good performers, and I know that they're both, good at their own right, but gosh, this putting them together again after 14 years, they were back like 2006, 2007, they were doing this as a tag team, and now we're having, the Money in the Bank thrown in there. It was nice to see both Drew McIntyre and Goldberg kind of go over in that segment and hit him with the spear and hit him with the Claymore. But man, You talked about it. As much as I don't like seeing him, I feel like the only segment I really cared about going into the show was the Drew Goldberg segment that they announced. So of course they started the show off with that. So Goldberg does bring viewers, I guess, but man, it was another abysmal show. Like you said, we talk about it literally every week. It's a slog to get through. It's tough. It almost like ruins wrestling for me for the week. Luckily we have Dynamite and SmackDown to kind of back in the end of the week, but man, Raw is just not what it used to be, man. And I don't know what it's gonna take to get it back to that point, but it's sure gonna take a lot because it is bad.
One, you know what? You need new content. I think the next round of NXT call-ups should be boosted towards Raw. SmackDown's doing great. And plus it's 2 hours, but whoever's writing SmackDown is doing an amazing job. It's an easier show to take in. Yeah, Fox ain't gonna tolerate the crap that WWE was giving them the first couple months, for sure.
Yeah.
And now you hear your rumblings of USA not happy with WWE, the ratings and the content. So I think you got to do something a little bit different with the show, the look and feel. You need to bring some new faces on there, new storylines. Let's just revamp this thing and quite possibly consider losing the brand split, or keep the brand split but just have the title holders float around.
I mean, you got through SmackDown. We just got through SmackDown. We're doing our
good show. Very convoluted at the end, but
yeah. But I mean, you just talked about the brand split, and it was the AJ segment with Daniel Bryan, the first segment to start off the show, and Bryan goes, "Oh, what are you doing here? You're a Raw superstar." And AJ said something, and I was like, "Please God, tell me he did not say that." The quarterly superstar swap, I think, is what he called it, where every quarter wrestlers can go back and forth. I'm just, why do they keep trying to do this brand split? Like,
yeah,
SmackDown's got a good roster. It's not like Raw doesn't have a good roster. They don't use them well, and it's bad to where you have to put your Raw guys to get people to watch on Monday. You have to put them on SmackDown to say, hey, I recognize him. I want to see more of him on his own show. It's bad, man.
They're competing with themselves from within, and it's bringing down the product. There's no need to do Raw vs. SmackDown anymore. We all know it's one company.
Yeah.
And if you want to do crossovers, why not make agreement with other wrestling promotions and help them out, and make the wrestling business a lot more interesting. Have some WWE guys go to AEW and bounce back and forth. But you know what? Too big of egos, especially in WWE's side.
Yeah, let me see some pro wrestling guerrilla guys, PWG, CZW, ROH. I mean, whoever you bring in, just if you're gonna use people from your own roster, why not use, like you said, the people from NXT? It's like they try to make us think, oh, these two are not the same roster, but they are. And then when it comes to Survivor Series, or not back in the day, but a few years ago, I guess it was 10 years ago or so, but when they did the bragging rights pay-per-view, it was the same thing. It's like, oh, for one night there, Team Red or Team Blue. No, we know you're Team WWE. Like, it doesn't matter. They did it a few good times when it was, Team WWF versus the Authority, or versus, I combined two, versus the Invasion, and WWE versus the Authority. I thought those were good, well done, and They did have some stakes in them, but it's just like nobody's actively going to sit there and say, oh, I bet he's really wanting to fight for the Monday Night Pride. Come on, we're wrestling fans. Like, we all know what's going on here. It's just
Absolutely.
just stop putting them. Just make them completely separate entities, and just let them build storylines off that. I mean, I read something, and I am hoping that he shows up on Sunday, but man, Aleister Black hasn't been on. He got drafted to SmackDown. He hasn't been on TV since his wife Zelina Vega got fired. But what, is he just gonna show up on Raw after the Royal Rumble if he shows up and be like, oh, I'm fighting for the brand supremacy or whatever. It just I don't get it. I don't get why. I don't have a problem with seeing the same people. I don't have a problem with seeing, your Roman Reigns and your AJ Styles, all that every single week. But I do have a problem when I look at the roster and I see them bring guys like AJ over to SmackDown or do this quarterly brand split or whatever when they could be using more people on their roster who deserve a bigger push.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating, man.
Moving on, we see Matt Riddle fight on Raw. Defeats the Hurt Business to earn a shot at the Lashley for the U.S. title. Good work.
Yeah.
I wasn't really too invested. A little bit, just because there's a U.S. title in the mix there. We also see the return of Orton with an RKO on Alexa Bliss to close out Raw. I generally had the feeling here that quite possibly Alexa Bliss was going to take the title off of Asuka. So I was a little invested into this match, also to the fact that, the Fiend, I believe the Fiend's going to show up at the Royal Rumble, by the way. That is absolutely happening for sure.
You heard it here first.
I don't know if absolutely, you heard it here first. I don't know if he's in the match, if he's going to be, he could be. I'm not entirely sure. But I think for sure in the middle of the match, you hear the Fiend's music go off. And we'll talk more about the prediction, but, I have a feeling the Fiend will interrupt there. But, we see the return of Randy Orton with RKO and Alexa Bliss, which ended the title match almost like a Nitro ending, kind of, because it somewhat abrupt. You just see the RKO and then the show went off the air. But that's basically Monday Night Raw. There was a lot of stuff that I particularly don't care to
a lot of filler
cover. There was a lot of filler. Before we head into our Royal Rumble predictions, we'll talk a little AEW. Just we don't want to neglect them. We want to take care of them.
Yeah.
So AEW, we have AEW Beach Break next week. John Moxley and the Death Triangle versus Omega and the Good Brothers. I'm pretty excited about this match. They hyped it up. They were all brawling in the ring last week. And then we have Revolution.
That good promo where he said he wakes up every morning and has sex because it's good for the soul. That's my kind of wrestler right there.
Hey, listen, that's what God made. God made sex for to be pleasurable, marriage, and you wake up first thing, do what you got to do, feel great, happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
But
could have said it better myself.
Moxley did have a good promo there for sure, so we're gonna see some good stuff there next week for sure. Not to mention we got Revolution got moved to March 7th. I think it had something to do. It was originally booked for February, the later part of February, but and they moved that to March 7th because I believe there was a UFC or a boxing night on, and they put it on the Sunday, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting move for them, especially because, AEW's night is Saturday, and I think the following week is, I want to say Chamber. I want to say Elimination Chamber. So it'll be interesting. We got a lot of good wrestling coming up.
We have a lot of content coming. It's going to slow down after Mania, but
it's crazy. Mania. I mean, you think, let's see, we got Rumble Sunday, you have Beach Break, you have NXT TakeOver on Valentine's Day, Fastlane, Revolution, Chamber, another NXT TakeOver, and then 2 nights of Mania. I mean, all that span in 3.5 months. I mean, those are some high-quality, events that I expect to be really good, pay-per-view style events. And I'm sure AEW will throw another TV special in there. So.
Oh, yeah, they're going to throw in a TV special, themed special for sure.
Yeah. But it's good, man. It is as bad as some of it is, which, speaking to you, WWE, it's good to have this much content as a wrestling fan. I think if you are just a AEW fan, you have enough content. If you're a WWE fan, you have enough content. But if you're both, I mean, you got something to look forward to every single week, it seems like.
So It seems like we're definitely getting Cage and Starks versus Sting and Darby Allin. I like the pairing of Sting and Darby Allin. Almost kind of reminds me of father and son. But
Yeah, exactly. They sure
but,
look like it.
yeah, and then maybe you can throw like Thunder Rosa in there for the daughter. But
Yeah, I'd be down for
anyhow, the Darby sister, but
Yeah.
they all look alike with the face
They
paint.
really
But
do.
anyhow, um, it's not for the title here, so I think Cage and Starks may pull out the W just to get the rub. But
You think Sting doesn't get a win in his? I mean, shit, he lost both his matches in
I don't know.
WWE. You think he
No,
go?
no title on the line here. There's no belts on the line, so they can go either way.
I honestly expect them to get the win or to
It
have
should.
Sting turn on Darby. I don't think that's what they'll do, but I could see it
No.
because that's a match that you could do. But I think if Team Sting and Darby win, I think that's when you see one of Team Taz, get the win for the title, the TNT title. I think that can, if he does turn on Allen, you set up a match for the following Dynamite, the title. Whichever member of Team Taz is fighting Allen gets that title, and then Sting and Allen have a good little program going. But yeah, it should be good, man. I'm still iffy about Sting being in the ring because you gotta.
I think this is the best way to. This is the best way to
sure.
protect them. He doesn't have
Yeah,
to worry about taking any bumps. He can,
Yeah.
you can fight on your feet.
I mean, shit, the amount of times we've seen street fights where, one team, it's a tag team street fight and two guys go in the back and, they just disappear and then they randomly show up, with 5 minutes left to go in the match. So, yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't think any AEW fan can't say that they're not intrigued, but I'm also worried with the fact that with his injuries and his age, I mean, it should be,
he can't land on his neck. His whole
Yeah.
neck and lower back, and under his neck, that whole region, he can't land there. He really can't take any bumps. I mean, we saw that, in his match with Seth Rollins a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I expect him to work with Ricky Starks a lot during the match. I think Cage and Allen will, do their bruising of each other. I expect it to be a pretty violent match, honestly. I think AEW has kind of been known for that recently, but yeah,
yes,
I think
Darby's going to take a lot of the bumps and the bruises in that match out of the two of those guys, Sting and Darby.
I think we're going to see a coffin drop off the stage wherever he's at. Whether it's the top of the Daily's place or whatever. I think he's going to do something crazy.
Seems like Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet are getting their match against Shaquille O'Neal and Jade. How's this going to turn out?
It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. I mean, I get it.
They're trying to get that ratings pop.
I get that, and I know, like, bring in you're on TNT. Bring in your viewers that you have. You earn most of your viewers from the NBA on TNT partnership. Bring in Shaq. I mean, Shaq's been involved in the wrestling business before, but, I mean, come on. Like, Shaq versus Big Show, that made sense. Because they're just two behemoths, and they could just slap the shit out of each other, and that'd be a 5-minute match. But, I mean, what is Shaq gonna do? Like,
well, it's gonna be like a David versus Goliath match. Like, I don't think Shaq is gonna take a major bump, but I can see, Shaq with a little offense, and then Cody, trying to chop him down with his legs and bring him down to his knees, like something like that. I don't see Shaq, taking any bumps and falling down like a tree or anything like that. It could be manageable. I don't think it's gonna be a good match.
No. When you say his offense, I'm just thinking of him just like throwing punches and throwing chops, like
a Big Daddy Cole, Cole.
Yeah, maybe he'll pull out a Hurricane Rana or something. Like, I'd be down for that, but I was expecting them to announce this match, and it was almost like one of a I know it's gonna happen, but like please don't kind of thing. And right when they did it, they haven't announced it officially, but it's almost inevitable that they're building towards it, and I understand it, but I expect that match to be maybe a bathroom break for me. Honestly, I'll go watch that go watch it the next day or something. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe Shaq will do a top rope dive or do some chain wrestling with him. I don't know.
I'm not a fan of how this event's on a Sunday night. By the way,
No, me neither.
I usually like to rest and chill and relax on a Sunday night. But yes, what are you gonna do? WWE, that's the usual. But I always like the AEW stuff on Saturdays.
Yeah, I think it makes for easier viewing. I feel like you get into Sunday, if you miss, we're talking about the Royal Rumble. If you miss part of the Rumble, you want to go back and watch it Monday. You got to watch it, after work. And with Saturday, you miss part of the pay-per-view, you can go back and watch it on Sunday because you still got the day off. It's still the weekend. So I understand the change, with the UFC or boxing match, whatever it was. But it's going to be weird to see them actually, have this pay-per-view on Sunday night, which is the normal WWE time slot.
Yeah. Well, right now, AEW is in the process of baking up a card for Revolution. So we have that coming up in about another 5 weeks or so. We got Beach Break coming up next week. So they're getting it going. They had a very, very bad show last week. This show was pretty decent that they had this week. So next week, I'm expecting a very good show. I think this woman's title on the line. I think we're getting Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker.
Yes.
So we'll see John Moxley and Death Triangle versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. We're going to get that. So there's some stuff to look forward to. But, Al, I believe we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Royal Rumble predictions.
There we go, man. You're speaking my kind of language with that one.
So Royal Rumble 2021 taking place this Sunday night, 7 p.m. live from the Thunderdome.
Only on WWE Network. Soon to be on the Peacock.
That is such Peacock.
I saw that and I was just, again, I understand it, and they obviously got a good amount of money for it, but it's just so weird. Such a weird time to, why not wait till after Mania? You're asking people, I think it's 3 weeks before Mania, you're asking people to, get, again, the average person could do it, but that's such a big change when your pay-per-views are broadcasted on the WWE Network and you're saying, okay, well, we're migrating over to a completely different app that looks completely different from the WWE Network, and we're moving everything over there. It's just, I don't understand the change before WrestleMania. I would have expected them to do it after WrestleMania. But hey, maybe it brings in more viewers.
Well, that is very possible. That's extremely possible. You have people that have the Peacock app, not for just WWE, but for people that are fans of The Office.
Yeah,
I get you can't get Office on streaming services anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's to make wrestling more mainstream, and that's fine. But I also like the fact that wrestling isn't so mainstream. I like the fact of having just a single streaming service in the WWE Network where everything is just there that you want to find. Now I feel like you go on Peacock, and again, I don't know what the design's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to react, but I feel like everything is just going to be way more cluttered than it already is, and that's going to be a problem for people who are, new to WWE or just getting back into it for WrestleMania season. I don't know. I don't understand the change right before Mania, but hey, I mean, they made a lot of money off of it. So.
You know what the next step is?
Oh,
the next step is WWE being sold to an ESPN or Disney.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm sure NBC will have a play, once the Fox, because they own USA Network. I'm sure NBC, if Fox ever gets up SmackDown, will be the first people to call, be asking to buy it from McMahon. It's almost inevitable, it seems.
Royal Rumble predictions. Do we see The Miz cash in on Sunday night?
Yes.
An attempted cash in? You think we see it failed? What match do you think we see it in?
I mean, he has to cash in on the Goldberg match, the Goldberg McIntyre match, and
It will make a little more sense since Miz is on
yeah,
Raw.
it's so tough to base my predictions off of anything because of that match. If that match is, I don't expect it to go longer than 10 minutes. If McIntyre gets the win, I think we see Goldberg in the Rumble. If Goldberg wins, I expect to see Miz cash in, the Money in the Bank, and McIntyre attacks him after the match or whatever, and Miz gets a fluke win or something like that. But yeah, I really don't know what is going to happen in this pay-per-view until I see the result of that match, which is bad on my predicting part, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot with this one.
It's kind of tough to see where Miz is going to end up as far as cashing in goes. I think he's going to have a failed attempt come Sunday night. And I think it's going to be in the Drew Goldberg match.
Yeah.
And I think Drew might even pin the Miz if Miz cashes in. He may not even pin Goldberg. Or what if Goldberg pins the Miz and becomes the champion, and then Drew McIntyre is no longer the champion, yet Drew McIntyre never got pinned?
That's a good. I didn't think about that. So you think that they would do kind of like what they did with the Roman Brock match at Mania, where Seth runs in and it immediately comes a triple threat, and Goldberg gets the pin on that one?
Absolutely.
I could see that.
It could be a way to get the belt on Goldberg if they want to go that route, and then have the Royal Rumble winner beat Goldberg at Mania. Could do that.
So where would that leave McIntyre? Because what I was thinking when you said that is
maybe Drew reinserts himself into the Royal Rumble. Or maybe he fights his way into. You can't forget you got Elimination Chamber. You have Fastlane, two very viable pay-per-views that are known for propelling a superstar into the main event. So say if a SmackDown person wins the Royal Rumble, maybe a Raw guy will find themselves into the main event by winning Elimination Chamber or by winning a number one contender match. A lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I think you can do, if Goldberg does win and McIntyre doesn't take the pin, I think you can keep him in that program, because I know how much they wanted to do, McIntyre get that big WrestleMania moment. There's going to be fans at WrestleMania this year. He beats Goldberg back for the title at Mania, has that moment, and then you kind of have a 3-month trial period, I guess, bridge. They say bridge quarterback in football, but Goldberg is your bridge champion, and then you give McIntyre that moment. Or, like you said, put him in the Rumble. I'd love to see McIntyre versus Reigns. I expect Reigns to come out with the title in his last match. I don't
think Drew would reinsert himself into the Rumble. I think if Drew were to lose, he might continue to get his number one contender ship a little later on via like a Fastlane or Elimination Chamber or something.
Yeah, I expect him to be in the championship hunt, whether he's whether he's still holding the title or whether he's chasing it up until Mania. But my only question is again, like, if Goldberg doesn't win, who is Goldberg's opponent at Mania? Because he's not going to fight The Miz.
Listen, Goldberg may not even be a factor at Mania. Goldberg may even later on, again, utilize one of the next two pay-per-views to try to go after Roman Reigns.
I could see it. I just, with the fact that it's a 2-night Mania, I feel like WWE is going to try and do whatever they can to get in as much stars as they can. I've heard Cena is almost a guaranteed lock to be at Mania. So with Cena being there, and I expect Goldberg to be there.
I can see, that would be a very interesting face-off, but I can see Cena going against R-Truth 24/7 title.
See, but that would be good. Like, that would be funny. Like, I would be okay with that. Like, obviously, like, I'm a Cena fan. Like,
we know Cena doesn't need to be on that show. It helps, but it's Mania. But
he would obviously enjoy it.
It wouldn't hurt him if he did something hokey.
No, and I unless if he starts something at the Rumble, if he's even in the match on Sunday, like
we'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, who is he facing? Honestly, like that would just be fun. Like the 24/7 title is a joke, obviously, but R-Truth getting a win over Cena, who wouldn't need the title or the win, like in a 5-minute match, like that would be fun. Like it'd be a joke. You can make like a whole promo package out of it and everything. I'd totally be down for those two to have a clash. I really enjoyed their match at Capital Punishment. Geez, 10 years ago. That seems like forever ago. But yeah, man, that'd be a good idea.
And, you know, that up is because R-Truth is for the past year or more has been constantly hinting about John Cena, how John Cena is his fan. You know, he comes out with the John Cena gear, does John Cena moves. There's got to be some kind of payoff to that. But I think you and me can both agree that The Miz possibly cashes in on Sunday.
Yeah.
In a failed attempt.
I don't, again,
I mean, there's always been that possibility where they don't even do that, and then somehow The Miz carries the briefcase through Mania, and then maybe they do a Drew McIntyre Miz program after Mania, which I don't want to see, but that could happen.
I mean, they got to get their belt. I mean, they got to get it off of him somehow. You know, they got
to get off my TV.
They got to get the contract, the briefcase or whatever, you know, off of him somehow. They already put it back on him for a second time. So I don't know about a failed cash in. I mean, WWE, I'm sure they don't even know up to this point, but I expect
there's no way they're gonna have The Miz walking into WrestleMania with that championship.
Oh, I don't know if he'll walk in, but I could easily see him, you know, walk out on Sunday and then lose it on Monday, you know, type thing. I mean, they've done that before. I was actually just watching the 4-corner elimination match with Vader, Taker, Bret Hart, and Stone Cold, and from '97, Bret Hart wins the match. The next night, he loses the title to Psycho Sid. So
97 was a crazy time. Let me tell you, that belt.
They've done that.
That belt between Survivor Series '96 and WrestleMania 13 was changed like a hot potato. That was a fun string of pay-per-views to watch.
It's a good match too. I really recommend. It's the first time I'd ever seen that match. I really recommend it to people. It's kind of nonstop action for 25 minutes. I mean, it's definitely a '97 match. You know, it's not a lot of in-ring work. It's just kind of a bunch of guys punching each other on the outside, but it's enjoyable. It was really good. But yeah, I brought that match up because they changed the title just off, you know, the next night. So if they want to do that,
it could happen. It would add a little buzz, for however long they want to keep the belt on them.
It definitely bring viewers into Monday night, which is what they need.
They do. They absolutely do. So, do you have Drew McIntyre walking out? What's the probability that he walks out of Rumble with the belt?
I'm going to say it's 70% that he walks out, 20% Goldberg walks out, and 10% The Miz.
Okay.
So that's fair. My pick would still be McIntyre.
I really want to disagree with you, but I can. We agree on a lot of stuff. So
yeah,
yeah.
But I partially don't want Goldberg to win. Or
no,
I don't want Goldberg to lose because I'm sure if he loses, he'll be in the Rumble and it'll be just a really disappointing entrance.
Some people think that just to kind of figure out a way to get to Roman Reigns Goldberg. So it's a big maybe.
Oh, that would be such a WWE move to.
It's been done in the past.
We talked about it in our watch along, just how much, and I get it when you have like a depleted roster, but there's literally no excuses for them having anybody who shows up during the show before the Royal Rumble to be in the Royal Rumble match. I better not see Goldberg, Randy Orton, Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre. I better not see any of them in the Royal Rumble. There's no excuse for it. But I'm sure we will see. I'm sure. Are you sure? Knowing WWE, do you want to hedge your bet on that? I'm sure somebody's going to show up.
Yeah, or somebody from one of the matches that was already in the match in the Rumble. Yeah, it very well could happen.
I don't want it to, though. That's the problem.
Let's see. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. I have Roman retaining here. How about you?
Yeah, there's just no way that Roman doesn't retain. I think we see something in this match. I think
we
might
see a screw job.
Yeah, I whether it's Adam Pearce turning heel, or I could see Jimmy come back, Jimmy Uso come back. Yeah, I really don't see any chance of
Do
Kevin
you
Owens
think
walking
that
out.
we are in the middle of a WrestleMania program and we don't know it yet? Do you think that we're in the middle of a Roman Reigns Kevin Owens storyline that is going to culminate at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens finally getting his WrestleMania moment, defeating Roman Reigns to the belt?
I mean, it has. If it is, it's got to be the last time they fight until Mania. I mean, they fought like what?
If Kevin Owens fights Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, Roman is losing that belt. Mark my words. If not, Kevin Owens may just quit WWE now and go to AEW.
Never winning it back again.
No, he's done.
I mean, they fought at the last pay-per-view at Survivor Series or TLC.
Yeah, they fought on SmackDown.
Yeah, so and
this
they're
would
gonna
be
fight
like the
here.
third time.
Yeah, so I mean, if it is, which I'd be completely okay with, because Kevin Owens is fantastic. They can't fight again until Mania, or unless if it's like a little scrap or something. I mean, they just
or they may do something where Kevin Owens can't get Kevin Owens is not in the Rumble. He loses the match, and then maybe he utilizes one of the next two pay-per-views to insert himself into a match with Roman Reigns.
Chamber? I could see him winning a chamber match.
Because at this point, it makes sense to carry on the storyline of WrestleMania. We're in the middle of it. It's the storyline still got legs. And we'll talk about the Royal Rumble predictions a little later. But if you have a guy like Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble and facing Roman Reigns in Mania, Daniel Bryan probably not going to win.
Yeah. Kevin just talked about it on SmackDown a few hours ago, how he's basically beaten Roman twice, and, Roman's used his family to help him get the wins. I honestly, you said a screw job, I hope it's not a stupid one, but I could see them, doing it's a last man standing match, wrapping tape around his ankles to where he can't stand up or something stupid like that, some overhashed crap that they've done before. But yeah, I honestly could see them do continue this program with Owens. I honestly have no problem with him being in a match with Roman at Mania and beating him at Mania. Because, again, Roman's not going to not be in the title picture. Even if he has to go after a secondary title, Roman's going to be, at the top for a reason, because he's just good. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, he's just good, and he's been a fantastic champion since he turned heel, and
been great.
I expect their match to be a barn
Roman
burner.
Reigns' title runs has definitely got legs under it for sure.
Yeah, I expect their match to be really good, but I don't see any chance where Kevin Owens walks out with the title on Sunday.
Here, yeah.
Sasha
Banks defends against Carmella. I think
this one's tough.
Yeah, I mean, you could have an upset here, with the interference of Reginald. I don't think so. I think you got to save Sasha Banks for a high profile match with that belt, and then we'll get to the predictions in a moment.
Yeah,
but I think you got to save Sasha for a high profile match at Mania.
Yeah, I think Sasha's going to retain, but I think of any of the three champions, I think there's only three, any of the major championship matches, I think this is the one that is most likely for an upset. I think they've been building Carmella up for a reason. I'm not the biggest fan, but, the people at WWE are obviously writing creative for a reason, and I'm not, but I could see her getting a win here. But I don't expect it. I expect Sasha to retain here.
Yeah, same here. I got Sasha winning. I basically, other than the possibility of Drew Goldberg, I see no titles changing for sure on Sunday. So, All right, so let's go to the Women's Royal Rumble since we just got done talking about Sasha and Carmella. Women's Royal Rumble. I don't know about you, but who do you got winning the Royal Rumble? I have one person in mind.
I mean, it's either got to be Rhea Ripley or Bianca. I mean, they've been building Bianca up so well. I mean, she just got a win over Bayley on SmackDown just a few hours ago. I can't think of anybody else, and this is not partially. It is WWE's fault. There's just nobody else I really care about that really even has a chance to win, in my opinion. I mean, maybe Bayley, but I don't. They talked about it. They did kind of pull the trigger a little early on that Bayley-Sasha feud with their Hell in a Cell match, which was great, by the way.
They had nothing for the fall.
I could see them
They needed
building
ratings.
back. Yeah, I could see them building to a WrestleMania moment there, but I mean, maybe. God, please not Charlotte. Don't let her win again. Back-to-back years. I hope that's not who you're gonna say.
No, you can't rule that out. Actually, I got Bianca Belair. I mean,
So we
if
share
you
that.
want to make a new woman star on the rise, I think you got to ride the momentum Bianca Belair right now.
Yeah.
You guys have heard it here first, and maybe it's been talked about, but I think we could get the return of Ronda Rousey.
I've heard that.
If Ronda Rousey is in this match, she is going to win and take on Sasha at WrestleMania.
And that would be a hell.
Bold prediction,
Oh.
prediction, because it could be a surprise. If not, I have Belair.
She's not entering at number 30, so it's gonna be. She'd have to enter.
You got to figure Ronda Rousey probably entered in the 20s somewhere.
Yeah. Gosh, I hate that they're doing that. That just segue here that they're doing the backstage and they're announcing the number 1 and 2 entrant, and then in the men's and then the women's number 30.
Yeah.
It's like a match. Why? It just takes a surprise out of it to me.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan. Again, I understand.
It's
why
Royal
you're
Rumble
doing it.
weekend. They want to just do some extra stuff.
Yeah,
and I think
get
Talking
people
Smack is tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I've heard some rumblings that CM Punk might show up again for another appearance. Which
If
would
it's on the
be-
Fox special, then I can see it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Imagine. I don't think CM Punk's ever going to wrestle on WWE TV,
Oh, no.
but never say never. Never say we've seen this with Hogan and Warrior. But
You better.
I don't think we get CM Punk back, but you never know.
You've heard it here first.
Yes.
I'm calling my shot.
Yeah.
CM Punk comes out on Sunday. If he pops out and we do our post show after the show, I'm going to pop like a little child. CM Punk's my favorite wrestler. So if he ever does show up and if it's on Sunday, it'll make for a moment for sure.
It will. That would be very interesting. We're getting a return. We also, like you mentioned, Rhea Ripley. She could be one of the NXT call-ups that's going to be in the Rumble match for sure. Segue into the men's Royal Rumble. We have the return of Edge. You saw a promo about him. There's a lot of guys that are hyped up this year that have been built up as possibilities to win this men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think there's.
I don't know where they go, what they would have in mind for Edge if he wins the Rumble. Like, where who's he gonna fight?
I'd be good with him fighting McIntyre, but I don't think it's the right move.
I don't think it's the right move either. I that's a tough one. I don't know how
there's a lot of ways that they can go with this. I mean, Edge is one. You have Daniel Bryan, Styles, of course.
Yeah, so you got Daniel Bryan on the Daniel Bryan, and then the possibility maybe KO reinserting himself in the match on the SmackDown side.
Yeah, I think we could see. There's some dark horses in the fact of a Bobby Lashley or a Keith Lee or a Big E Langston. I think we could all see them have a chance.
My thing that I've been seeing, just disregarding all this nonsense with Goldberg and all the surprise appearances, I would not be surprised if we see Keith Lee and Sheamus both win the Rumble to take on Drew McIntyre at Mania, because they've been planting the seeds with Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee and Sheamus for months now. They've been planting the seeds, and they quite possibly may have a program come next month, an Elimination Chamber and the championship matches, or whatever they have planned between now and Mania. But you very well could you have the triple threat match of Keith Lee, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'd be fully into that. You know, I know a lot of people wouldn't be into the fact of.
Oh, I know people will be into it, but
Sheamus.
it's the story they've been telling.
Yeah, and the only thing with that is, you said they both win. It's tough, and it's something that you cannot do. I mean, you really can hardly ever pull it out of the hat now that it's happened. Is a double win, you know, 2 eliminations at the same time.
Well, it's Lex Luger and Bret Hart, and then Rock and Big Show.
Yeah, and Cena, obviously it wasn't supposed to happen, but Cena and Batista, you know, did it at the time, and then Batista won. I think it's something that you can do, you can pull off, but they'll have to do something different. But I'd definitely be down with that. I think Sheamus is another guy that we could, very much a dark horse, you know. This year's Rumble is it's really up in the air because I honestly don't even think WWE knows. I heard the reports that they've got their winners locked in. You know, I call BS on that.
I've heard some crazy rumors.
Yeah.
And I can't say the names. I will not say the names because if I'm wrong, then that just makes our show look bad and we lose all credibility. Yeah. But I've heard a crazy rumor that somebody we're not talking about and that hasn't been on TV in quite a while is going to come back, win the Rumble, and fight for the championship title at WrestleMania, whoever that may be, maybe against Drew or Roman. I heard a crazy name. I'm not going to say it. We will cover it if it happens.
If it happens
on Sunday night. But I heard a crazy name, and when I found out this name, I was like, "You gotta be kidding me! This would be worse than seeing Miz and Morrison on my TV every week." I'll tell you right now, this would be bad for WWE if the person I'm hearing that quite possibly shows up and wins. This will be very bad. I will flip my lid on Sunday night.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing is we really don't. I mean, there's so many possibilities of people who are coming, you know, who could be coming back, you know, whether it's, you know, legends or whatever, who have a chance to win. I think this year's Rumble is super wide open, but oh gosh, it'll be interesting to say the least, man. I'm excited. It's hard not to be excited for the Royal Rumble. This is if
it's true that they're gonna have this person come in, I don't see how they're gonna bring in the other even Ronda Rousey on the women's side. But anyhow,
I don't know how I could watch wrestling for a little bit after that.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
We'll have to see. But I heard this is bad. The person that they have in mind. It's not really been on the wrestling rumors, but then again, I haven't really been reading the rumors for the past couple of days. But this is just something I'm hearing. We won't bring up the name on the show because then we'll get in trouble and lose all credibility. But
yeah,
anyhow, now I mean, through what's available to us from the content we've seen, they've really hyped up Daniel Bryan. WWE's making sure that they're telling you that he's never won a Royal Rumble. Yeah. So I could expect him to be in the Final Four.
Bryan as well. I know they talked about
and they're talking about it. How about AJ Styles? Nobody's talking about AJ Styles. He's picked up some momentum on Monday night. He's racking up some wins. He's getting featured more.
You know, somebody who I just
he's never won a Rumble either. I don't think.
No, yeah. He's been in the Final Four.
I lose track of all these Rumble winners half the time. So every now and then, I gotta think of WrestleMania matches to figure out who won the Rumbles.
He's somebody I just thought of that we haven't seen in a while. That honestly, I expect to make an appearance. Well, he could make an appearance. Is Braun? Braun could be.
Well, Braun Strowman. He showed up on SmackDown.
Yeah. So I mean, I could.
He just showed up on SmackDown tonight.
I could see him, you know, going for a run. I don't know.
I don't think this
year. Don't know if he wins, but I could see him. I think he'll have a type, you know, 6-7 elimination type match. I think he'll be the monster,
You never know. I mean, if you got Braun, you could pair up Braun and Roman again. A lot of people are going to complain about it, but Braun hasn't gotten his win from Roman yet. Roman's
Yeah.
always been the one going over.
But yeah, man, it's tough to still not be excited. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's WrestleMania season, man. This is the best pay-per-view of the year, in my opinion, and I'll fight anybody who disagrees. But yeah,
Who else have we not mentioned? Who else have we not mentioned?
I mean,
we
Cesaro's
basically
kind of getting a
covered.
little bit of a push.
Yeah, I don't
he's-
see it.
but
Maybe for
I
a Money in the Bank, future Money in the Bank.
I don't see it. But could you
Yeah.
imagine?
How about Nakamura? Nakamura's been hot.
Nakamura?
But
Yeah.
I think he'll have a good showing in the Rumble. I don't think he wins, but I think he has a good showing in the Rumble.
He'd be a two-time winner if he does pull it off.
WWE, he's been
Yeah.
He's been shining the past couple weeks,
Yeah,
and he
I think,
basically just turned babyface.
and again, these are super dark horses, but they do have a slight chance compared to being in Eric Rowan in past years or something like that, or the Ascension, where they're just in the match to be filler. Nakamura, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, while it doesn't seem likely, they have been built up to a point to where you could say, okay, it wouldn't surprise me. Well, it would surprise me, but it wouldn't, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be.
No.
It wouldn't be like, oh, this person's just getting like what Mustafa Ali was supposed to get, that Kofi turned into, just a random rub, and now they're in the title picture. Like they've been built up for a reason. But I think this year does have a lot of good dark horses, but I don't really expect WWE to go with a dark horse. I'm sure they'll take the cop out or do something just absolutely
They
blasphemous.
bring in Lesnar again.
I've heard Lesnar as well. I've heard Lesnar and Cena.
Cena. Cena's a possibility that could show up at the Rumble.
God, if they did, Lesnar and
Imagine
McIntyre,
Cena
I could
wins.
see.
Cena, Lesnar McIntyre rematch. I've heard something like that. Where maybe I've even heard rumors of a triple threat, with Lesnar, McIntyre, and Keith Lee.
Now,
So that could
would
be very interesting to see.
That would be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
I'd 100% be down with that, but don't you dare put Lesnar in a match with Roman Reigns. I swear, if I ever have to see them fight again, I don't care. The new teeth that Roman's got, or the new back tat that Brock's got. I don't care. I don't ever want to see those two fight again.
If it's one of those quick car wrecks like WrestleMania 31, I'd be cool with it because I didn't really mind the short match that they had.
Yeah, but again, that was 5 years ago. They've had so many matches, or 5-6 years ago. It just seems like they've had so many matches since.
They have
It's
had a
just
lot.
like,
Yeah, they've done quite a few. And then
new
one last
stuff,
person,
new stuff.
The Fiend. We got the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I would expect him to somehow show up in the middle of the Rumble where the lights go out in the middle of the match, and then the lights come back on. You see the Fiend and Randy Orton in the ring.
I think he's gonna come from under the ring. I think he's gonna pop out.
You could. Hey, listen, he's gonna be watching TV under the ring.
Yeah,
That's how it happens.
him and Hornswoggle.
They got that.
Hornswoggle's
They
gonna
got that
get
TV screen under the ring, and
Yeah.
he'll get the cue when he's watching the Rumble from under the ring, and then he'll come right out, and then the lights go on. Yeah,
I don't expect
Very
the
possible.
Fiend to be in the match.
I don't expect them to be in the match or
But I know he'll be involved.
show up.
Yeah, he'll be involved.
and tossing Randy out. I think Fiend
Yeah.
tosses Randy out.
And that's fine. I'm okay with that being a WrestleMania match. I hope it's not a House of Horrors match or whatever shit.
No,
that was,
I think
but
we'll probably get a regular one-on-one match.
really, I could see
Yeah,
them. I could
why
see
not?
that.
I don't
being a
want to
match.
see any hokey stuff between them.
I don't either, but I could see them doing a Firefly Funhouse match, which would be good. I honestly, I'd kind of like to see what they do with that, with the, bringing back all Randy's past, not egos, but eras, I guess is the right word. That would be cool to me. But
Yeah.
if there was one match that they could do,
So
a
you think
stipulation-
so you're thinking they may do a cinematic match?
yes and no. I think it's one of those kind of like like the backlot brawl at WrestleMania 12, where it was cinematic for a part, and then they fought they finished it off in the ring or something like that, because there will be fans, so why not use the fans? But yeah, I could see them going kind of half cinematic, half finish in the ring type thing. But what I was saying was, if there was a match on the card that we're 80 to 85% sure is going to happen, I think that one is the one that you do a stipulation on.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, basically, Tommy, unless you have anything to add to that, that basically wraps up our show. We covered a little bit of Raw and AEW quickly just to catch up on things and storylines leading into their prospective pay-per-views. Then we got the Royal Rumble this weekend. Yeah. We got the Super Bowl. We got the Super Bowl next week. We got Kansas City against Tampa Bay. Who do you got?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I'm gonna let my little brother have it, because the Bucks are gonna do what the Rays couldn't do. They're gonna bring a title to Tampa Bay. I'm gonna say let's make it a car wreck, man. 45-42. I like a high-scoring game in that one. I think Mahomes throws an interception. I think Sean Murphy-Bunting is going to be the first player to ever get an interception in all 4 playoff games. That's what we'll do. 45-42 Tampa Bay. Let's. I
got Kansas City.
One more MVP.
I got Kansas City 37-14.
Man, you're expecting a shellacking with that one.
I have a feeling we might.
Gosh, I hope not.
I have a feeling we might.
Let me tell you, if Tyreek Hill goes off in the first quarter like he did against Tampa earlier this season, like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, it will be a blowout. They won't stop that man. But I expect them to come out ready. And again, I know Mahomes is coming off concussion and he's still dealing with that turf toe. I've had concussions in the past. He's not going to be 100% no matter what he tells you. The Bucs got a solid defensive line. I think they're going to get after him. And I just think it's going to be high scoring. I think we're going to see both quarterbacks reach 50 to 55 passes. Not a lot of running. And knock on wood, it's a good game, because God, does the NFL need a good one to end the season. What has been not awful, but a tough season to get through with the COVID and no fans.
Absolutely. They got through, and they're going to do it even better next year for sure.
Yeah. I think the MLB and the NBA had really good endings to their seasons with the World Series and Finals, and the NFL's had a really solid playoffs, and it would be storybook to end the 55th Super Bowl. First time ever teams hosted is playing in their own stadium for it, and cap off this crazy ass season with a hell of a game, and that's what I fully expect.
It's going to be crazy. A lot of content, man. Oh, man. Royal Rumble this weekend. Super Bowl the week after. Then we have TakeOver a week after that, actually. So that's basically 2 weeks from now we have TakeOver. Then
I think the following
3 weeks after that, it's AEW, and then Fastlane. And we got a lot going on in the next couple months. I'm very excited. But to all you Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. This podcast, those of you guys that are watching, it's Friday night right now. This podcast will be available on Saturday at some point or by early Sunday. And for you guys that are listening before the Rumble, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel itself. This way, you guys will be able to watch our Royal Rumble post show. We are going to have a post show immediately following the Royal Rumble. We're going to have Jamie Rush back this Sunday night. We're going to have the debut of Joe Aguila, coming on to the show and covering the Royal Rumble. So we're going to have a good weekend ahead. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, because this post show will not be on the podcast. It will be on YouTube only. So you got to make sure you subscribe now on YouTube. We're also available on Twitter to get all your updates for sure at Deep6W. Tommy, once again, that puts episode 52 in the books. Let's rumble, man. I'm
Let's
ready.
rumble, baby. I'm excited,
ready.
man. Looking forward to it.
For you guys that are watching, you guys have an awesome night, and we will be back here Sunday night immediately following the Royal Rumble. Make sure you subscribe and be ready. We will be coming on immediately after the show, and we will see you guys then.